This time is for Handok Kalos Medical. Handok Kalos Medical is a company which focuses on medical device development, and this is the only company which develops hypertension therapy in Korea. Presentation will be covered by President Kim Chul-jun of the company. Good to see you.
Hello, I'm CEO of Handok Kalos Medical, Kim Chul-jun. It is great honor for me to introduce my company to you all. Well then, let's begin with our company's introduction and market introduction and product introduction as well as our vision. First of all, let's begin with company introduction. The name of this company is Handok Kalos Medical and it was established in 2015. The headquarters is located in Gwangju Business Center, and we have a small office in Seoul, and we have a production facility in Umseong, and we have 15 staff members, and 12 are R&D specialists. So basically, it's a small company. Our main shareholders are Handok, Korea Investment Partners, KDB Bank, and DSC Investment. In 2012, our company founded as a Handok Medical Device Research Center, and it began its spin-off in 2015. From 2013, we began developing renal denervation system, Demux, and we got a KGMP in 2015, and we got an ISO certificate and CE mark in 2016, and we began and completed our clinical trial in 2019, and we got good results. And this year in 2020, we began our clinical trials in Korea and Euro market. And to introduce the board members, I am CEO Kim Chul-jun. I got master's degree and PhD of family medicine at Seoul National University, and I was director of family medicine at Asan Medical Center, and I was head professor at University of Ulsan College of Medicine, and I also worked as a vice president of Korea MSD, which is a subsidiary of United States Merck and Company, and worked as a chairperson and vice president of Handok, and now I am president. And our CTO, Dr. Park Il-chun, graduated from Hanyang University, studied in engineering, and he achieved his master's and PhD at University of Utah Engineering, and he also spent 20 years studying heart and R&D at St. Jude Medical, and then moved to our company. Our company develops innovative medical device in order to enhance health of patients and maximize the profit of shareholders as well as enhance welfare for our staff members. And we're planning to go public in 2022 based on our medical device, and our key values are creativity, passion, and integrity. Now let's move on to the next stage. In order to make a global leading medical device, we have invited thoughtful leaders from overseas to form this scientific advisory board. First of all, this gentleman is from overseas, Professor Cho Swiss. He is a professor of National and Kapodistrian University of Athens, and he is president of European Society of Hypertension, and he especially is a specialist in renal denervation, and he participated in Medtronic and Recor as an R&D and business specialist, so he's consulting our company. And in Korea, we invited 3 specialists from each field, and for our business operation, first of all, this gentleman is has high authority on cardiovascular surgery, Professor Chang Young-soo from Yonsei University, and Dr. Pyonuk-bum, Professor, Chairman of the Korean Society of Hypertension from Ewha University, and Professor Choi Dong-ju from Seoul National University Bundang Hospital, who is president of Korea Cardiovascular Society. So we get a lot of pieces of advice and consulting from them. Next of all is the market introduction of renal denervation. Renal denervation covers chronic disease where the sympathetic nervous system is abnormally enhanced. When nervous system is abnormally enhanced, it can lead to hypertension, chronic heart failure, and chronic kidney disease. And there are a lot of patients, and among them specifically, when it comes to hypertension, the number of patients globally reaches over 1.1 billion, and about 30% of grown-ups suffer from hypertension. So it's a very common disease. So this is our main target, and we plan to expand our goal. I'll briefly talk about the renal denervation. And hypertension is the most representative and common disease for this case. And when the nervous system is abnormally enhanced, then this renin, norepinephrine, is released, and this decreases the bloodstream and releases renin. And this renin activates angiotensin and aldosterone, and renin, angiotensin, and aldosterone increases blood pressure. So if we successfully block these materials, then we can treat patients. But in the past, we opened patients' body parts to conduct surgery. So afterwards, there were a lot of drugs and medicine, and they replaced the surgery. So the surgery itself went extinct. However, recently, the medical society developed catheter. So with minimum invasion, we could block artery system in the heart. So we again began using this technology. The standard of hypertension treatment is dosage. However, there are a lot of unwanted results. For example, the treatment result is kind of limited, and patients have to take multiple pills. And even with taking 3 to 4 pills simultaneously, about 10% of patients do not get change, and they have to take lifelong pills. So they have to take multiple pills, and they have to take lifelong pills. So there is high risk and high cost. So based on this new technology, the renal denervation is gaining a lot of attention. And the patients that we can conduct this technology is those people who take dosage, who use 3 to 4 or more, even more pills, who do not get effects. And they account for about 11% of the whole patients. And then, nowadays, the medical clinical trials are going on, and there are patients who have not begun their treatment, and there are some patients who do not get effect even though they take 1 or 2 dosage. And as time goes by, there are more data accumulated, and even those patients who can well adjust their um, symptoms, some of them may say they would rather take this surgery instead of taking lifelong medicine. So this is the choice between taking pills until they die or go through this surgery. Well then, now let's introduce our key devices. This device is called Demux, and mainly there is this catheter on the left and the generator on the right. The catheter, please take a look at the tip. There are 3 electrodes shaped in a basket, and there's a lever around the handle, and you can adjust the size of the basket. And the generator on the right is a device to supply energy. Before I dive into the details, let's take a look at a video clip. Let's take a look at a video clip of hypertension therapy device Demux. So this is a surgery scenario. So from the brain, the nervous system hormone is going through the blood and goes to the kidney and increases the blood pressure by releasing renin. And by using a catheter, we approach the artery here. And we use the same catheter that we use on heart, and we insert this wire, and we approach this catheter through over-the-wire technology. And as you can see, there's an electrodo, and we use this lever on the handle, and we open it, and we project this radio frequency energy to scorch the nervous system through the artery. The Demux product, so far we are using this 1.0 version. It's safe, firm, and competitive model, and as I have mentioned, it uses 3 electrodes to block the nervous system and uses a lever and adjusts the size of this electrode basket. So according to the size of the artery, we can adjust the size. Typically, the size is from 3 to 8 millimeters of diameter, and it uses the guide wire to take an over-the-wire approach, so any medical doctor can easily conduct this surgery. And the Demux generator on the right part on the slide, as you can tell, it accurately shows the temperature and frequency visually, so medical doctors can visually tell and judge how the surgery is going on. In order to strengthen the capacity of the Demux 1.0, we decreased the size and increased flexibility of the tip, and we are working on this project. As for example, Germans, Freudenberg, or 3 major companies in the European nations, including Ireland, we're currently developing 1.2 generation Demux. And the next one is Demux 2.0. This is based on micro-MEMS technology to enhance the nervous blocking system by using a temperature sensor or impedance sensor. We also added this contacting sensor because you have to contact well to increase denervation efficacy. And by enhancing the efficacy, we are going to achieve higher efficacy. And based on this, we can make packaging even easier to increase productivity. And we are working on a co-development with Singaporean A-Star company, and we are planning to finish it by 2021. And once achieved, then we will make an impeccable device. The third generation Demux 3.0 is yet just in our dreams, and we're working on it, but ultimately just a simple contact or temperature. But on top of that, we can directly see changes based on our physiology sensor, and we attach a unique sensor on it. And if we accomplish this goal, then this will create another innovation to this field. Let's dive into competing companies. There are Medtronic, Abbott, Boston Scientific, Record Medical, among others. And among them, Abbott is a company which acquired St. Jude, and Boston Scientific and Abbott currently stopped their development, and the strongest competitors are Medtronic and Record Medical. As for Medtronic, just like our company, they use electrodes, but they are not basket shaped but spiral shaped, and they use radio frequency as energy source just like us. And its simple strength of this company is that they have small sized devices, so they can approach even small sized. However, the weakest point of this spiral type shape is that its contacting capacity is bad, so it has to scorch multiple times, which means longer time of surgery. And on the other hand, Record Medical has a balloon type sensor, and as an energy source, they use ultrasound. However, the critical weak point is that they have to keep inject and disinject brine, so even medical doctors do not really prefer this kind of surgery. And with Demux 1.0, we conducted a non-clinical test. We used swines and we conducted surgery on kidney, and we cut it and took a look inside of it. And as you can see, there are 3 points scorched, which means that the contacting have been done well. And if we cut it and take a look at with a microscope, it's shown below, all the nervous systems are well scorched. So on top of this anatomy achievement, if we take a physiologic approach, you can see that the level decreased by half, and 1 month later it went almost extinct, so which means it has high efficacy. Based on this study, we acquired a C mark, and based on this, in Korea, we had partnership with 4 universities, hospitals, and conducted research on 16 patients. And as shown from the graph, the OSVP, it decreased by almost 25 millimeters. And if you take a look on the right, it shows 24-hour based activation of tension, blood pressure. And also there was 13 millimeters of decrease, which means high efficacy. So it is more efficient compared to other companies' products. Next is our main intellectual properties. We have secured all the necessary IPs, and we have global IPs. However, I'll not elaborate about that for today's presentation. Let's move on to our growth vision strategy. Has 4 different approaches as strategies. And first of all is competent device production based on our quality and price. Next is GCP applicable test, which is fast and efficient. And third is we are going to increase our efficacy, and we are going to expand to other markets. And the fourth is actively expanding to the global market. So if I would elaborate about the 4 goals for development, we are working on being high-end technology in terms of 1.0, 1.2, and as I have mentioned before, just like Freudenberg in Germany or A-Star in Singapore, among other research institutes, we are having this open collaboration and innovation. And as for clinical trials, we have top-tier hospitals and special experts, and it is really important to go through clinical trials. So in Korea, about 30 hospitals, and in Europe, about 5 nations, 20 hospitals are conducting partnership with us. And also, we have invited European and Korean experts as consultants, and we are working in collaboration with CRO IQVIA. We're beginning with a hypertension medical device. However, in the near future, we'll expand to chronic heart failure or chronic kidney disease, and as in the mid and long term, we'll expand to diabetes among other fields. As for global market expansion, we mainly focused on European market and Korean market, but in the near future, we'll also cover the United States of America and China and Japan among other nations. And in order to do so, we're planning to and executing our clinical trials overseas, and we will go through a strategic partnership with multilateral big companies. Now, domestic and global medical clinicals. I would like to talk about this slide. So currently there is one medical clinical trial in Korea, and in order to expand to the European market, there is one medical clinical trial going on in Europe. As for in Korea, we have about 140 patients in 30 hospitals, and we're planning to have the first patient in June this year and the last patient in May next year. So we're beginning this clinical trial a little bit late. However, we are going to speed up to expand to the European market. just with the similar timing of Medtronic. And in the European market, there is sham control study, or namely plasma control study. So they're planning this sham control study, and we are planning to have 100 patients in 20 hospitals in 5 nations, and we're planning to have the first patient in August this year. And on top of that, next year we're planning to have new medical clinical trials, and we are putting efforts to get approval from the US FDA, and we're establishing strategies, and we're seeking for strategic partnerships. So we have begun our bidding activities. So far, I have introduced our company and the products and the market. Thank you for listening.
The only Korean company that is working on hypertension treatment device, Handok Kalos Medical, the company is for